All right, let's get right into it. We're going to break down a set of linguistic tools that honestly operate completely under the radar. Think of this as getting a key to influence conversations without anyone even realizing you're turning the lock.
You know that feeling, right? We've all been there. You're trying to be convincing, maybe just interesting, and the whole conversation just falls flat. It's a super common frustration, but here's the thing. It's probably not what you're saying. It's how you're saying it.
So, forget trying to win arguments with pure logic. We're about to open up a toolbox with 4 specific techniques, and they're all designed for one purpose: to make these little surgical strikes on the subconscious mind. You know, the part of the brain that's actually driving emotion and making the real decisions.
Okay, first tool up, trance words. You got to think of these as your secret weapon. This is how you hijack a totally boring conversation and make it immediately engaging.
So why do these things work? Well, trans words aren't meant for the logical, analytical part of the brain. They don't present facts. They're designed to spark feelings. They're specifically chosen to make the listener's imagination just light up and do all the heavy lifting for you.
See, these words, they're basically commands disguised as simple descriptions. When you say the word imagine, you're literally telling their subconscious to create a picture. Words like suddenly or mysteriously, they manufacture a sense of intrigue that the logical mind can't just ignore.
And this is how you can make literally anything compelling. I mean, you could be talking about something as dry as accounting, but the second you say, and you suddenly realize the numbers are telling a mysterious story, bam, you've just injected a shot of adrenaline into a topic that was dead 2 seconds ago.
So, at the end of the day, it's all about pulling the listener out of their analytical head and getting them into their emotions, because that's where the real influence actually begins.
Okay, so trans words create that initial emotional spark. But now, how do you steer that energy where you want it to go? Well, that brings us to our second tool, weasel phrases.
Just think of these as the lubricant for your conversations. They let you bring up sensitive topics, make a request, or change direction completely, all without sounding blunt or, aggressive.
Look at the difference here. The direct approach on the left, that can trigger defenses instantly. But the weasel phrase, if I were to ask you, it's totally hypothetical. It just slides right past any resistance because you're not actually making a demand. You're just opening up this low-pressure what-if scenario.
So these phrases really have 3 main jobs. They let you smoothly introduce a totally new topic, they take the sting out of a really bold statement, and they let you pivot the entire conversation, all while keeping the vibe completely cool.
And here's the real strategic payoff. By softening your delivery, you basically earn the right to be more direct, even provocative, with your actual message, because the frame you've built around it feels totally safe.
All right, now we're going to get even more precise. Our third tool, embedded commands, isn't just about steering the conversation. It's about planting an idea directly into someone's mind.
So, the conscious mind, it just hears a totally normal sentence. But the subconscious, it latches on to that hidden directive. It's how you can tell someone to feel excited or trust me without them ever realizing you're giving them a command.
So just listen to the sentence on the screen. The whole statement sounds harmless, right? But the part their subconscious is meant to lock onto is that command, get excited. You deliver that part with a slightly lower tone or maybe a tiny pause right before it, and it just lands like a dart.
But, and this is a big but, you can't just drop these into any old conversation. You need 2 things to make them work. First, the right context. The conversation has to already be engaging and emotional. And second, repetition. You have to hit them with these commands over and over for that suggestion to really take root.
Yeah, this isn't about one single magic command. It's about layering them, one after another, to build this powerful, unspoken momentum that just makes the other person want to follow your lead.
Okay, our final tool, this one is the most subtle, and honestly, it might be the most powerful of them all. It's called linking, and it's all about making someone's good feelings about you.
The goal here is pretty simple, actually. You engineer the situation so that when they feel good, they subconsciously connect that good feeling directly to you. So when they think of excitement or passion or whatever, their brain automatically pulls up your file.
And the way it works is through ambiguity. It's kind of sneaky. Let's say you get them talking about a time they felt amazing. Then you say something like, and as you really connect with this feeling. See? That phrase is a Trojan horse. It refers to their memory, sure, but it also refers to the feeling that's happening right now with you. The subconscious mind doesn't bother to separate them, it just merges the two.
So you use these little connecting phrases to build that bridge.
They're talking about a great experience, and you chime in with, and you can really enjoy these things. You are literally making yourself the anchor for their best emotional states.
I mean, the formula couldn't be simpler. Elicit a good feeling, then subtly attach yourself to it. You do that enough times, and in their mind, you become the source of that good feeling.
So let's just put this all together. Transwords, weasel phrases, embedded commands, linking, they all share one single purpose: to sidestep the brain's logical gatekeeper and engage the listener on a much, much deeper and more influential emotional level.
It really makes you realize that words, they aren't just passive labels for the world around you, they're active tools, which really leaves you with one powerful question to think about. What if language isn't for describing your reality, but for creating it?